Hello, I'm David and this is Shannon. Welcome to our new adventure. Today we will be visiting the Brigham City Fort, which is a 19th century military outpost, which was quickly left abandoned. We're going to also visit the nearby ghost town of Canyon Diablo, which was a nearby railroad stop. Join us as we visit these ghost towns that are now frozen in time and enjoy the views of the Wild West. When we were walking up, there was all these ravens in this tree, and it was kind of funny. You can see the ravens off over here flying. We were reading the history a little bit here, and Brigham City Fort was established by members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints back in 1876. And it was really a fort. They built a 8-foot high wall out of sandstone and had several structures inside. But due to long periods of drought as well as severe flooding, they were forced to abandon it about 4 years later in about 1881. But the ruins are still here, and it's part of the Winslow city now. It's been donated, the land, and we'll see what they have.
The sandstone walls here ran 200 feet on each side, and apparently there were lookouts on 2 of the corners to watch out for anyone who might cause trouble. What I love about the sandstone is just the way it glitters in the sun, and you might not be able to see it in the camera, but there is just a faint little glitter with the sandstone. It's just beautiful, and we saw it when we did the hike to the sand cave in Kanab, and that was one of the things I loved most about it, is just the glitter in the sandstone.
Looks like there's been some preservation work done. They're trying to prevent any more degradation. But from what I read, it sounded like they started to grow wheat and kept livestock animals here. Interesting how they did these fortifications. So these are gun positioning, so you can take angles with very little exposure. I believe this has probably been reconstructed, but I'm not sure.
The captain of the company that settled Brigham City was named Jesse O. Ballinger, and in that company there were about 35 people, 20 men with families and an additional 15 men that were single. And there were a lot of buildings here. They had a kitchen, they had a dining room, they had a cellar, a storehouse, they had a well, they had rooms for soap and pottery making and leather a working shop. There was also a school and a pottery kiln here. So they were really set up to be here for the long haul. And unfortunately, due to the weather and things outside their control, they had to abandon it in 1881, about the time when Winslow was just getting settled. This is a really beautiful area. I can see why it would have been desirable and a good place for them to settle. The little Colorado River is close by, and they use that, I'm sure, as a source of water. If you walk around, you can see little shards and little things on the ground that I wonder if they're remains of what was here, or if it's just, trash that's been strewn along the years. No way to really know, at least from my untrained eye.
Shannon just found this. I've been seeing little pieces of like old Chinaware plates, and maybe even stuff that looks like could be Native American pottery. There's also, looks like when people find old pieces of metal, these look really old. Could be from some of the farming and things they did. They've set them up here so other people can enjoy them. But when I was walking out here, I saw this, and this looks like a really old axe handle. Let's pick it up. So, oh yeah, I don't know. That could be, that's really old. And then that top part there is where they would slide on an axe handle maybe. And then, or the axe head. That's really cool. But that's old, whatever it is. I'm gonna put it right back. Pretty darn cool. Yeah, a little bit of mystery. We don't know what some of these buildings were, but we'll take a look at it real quick. Looks like they built out of sandstone. Look at that. I wonder why it's like that. They're using that for... That's interesting. Oh, cool. They have a wagon here. Oh, this is really old. Look at this wood. Wow. So though the location, the fort was abandoned in 1881, not long after, I think some families came in and made a ranch house out of it, but it was then later abandoned as well. But I think it was turned over to the city of Winslow in 1947, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, look, they had electricity in here. And this old wood floor. This old fireplace, wow. Just tell that's really old wall right there. Holy. That looks like it's about ready to fall in. I love doing these kind of explores. It's really kind of fun. You can see the old wood slatting they used to do in the ceiling. rock foundation there. How would that be to move in and live in a ranch house that used to be a fort? Had a giant wall around it. That's pretty cool. Looks like a closet here. Looks like a pile of mud bricks we brought in here. Preserve them, probably. That's my guess. They left those mud bricks out in the rain. They're going to be gone over time. Yeah, there's a door here. Let's see, I wonder where that goes. Looks like a barn or something back there. Hinges are on the outside. Wow. Wow. This could have been an extension of the house. And I think it was. Because there's a fireplace in here. Oh my goodness. Looks like this part. Wow. I don't know what it would be like to live in a place like this. Amazing. So we're going to go on and probably see Canyon Diablo and a couple other locations and meet us there. This road is... Hey, we're excited to be here at the Canyon Diablo ghost town, and we're here at the grave marker for, or the grave site for Herman Wolf, who was buried in 1899. He was one of the guys that operated the trading post here. And unfortunately today, if you can see over here, there's a train that's parked between us and the trading post and most of the ruins that we wanted to see. But we'll try to get some footage from the drone and maybe show some footage from a previous visit a few years ago. But there are some other things here that we want to see, and we'll show you.
Canyon Diablo was established in 1880 when workers on the railroad stopped for about 6 months to build a bridge that spanned the Canyon Diablo. If you look up the town of Canyon Diablo on the internet and do a search for it, you will find numerous accounts of what a lawless place it was, that it consisted of about 2,000 residents, that it was full of gambling houses and saloons and brothels and dance halls, and that lawmen were killed in the line of duty, that the center street or main street was called Hell Street, and that it just was a place where, compared to Tombstone, it made Tombstone look tame. There's only one problem with all of this information, is that it's all sourced back to one man who lived in the area in the 1960s, and his name was Gladwell Richardson. He ran a trading post in the town of Two Guns, which was really close to Canyon Diablo. He was actually a fiction writer and wrote Old West novels. So, being in the area, he told all these stories, and he benefited from the tourists who came to visit these places that he told stories about. He had his own shady past, and the question of where he came across his information was never answered. He never cited any sources, and since it had been over 80 years since the establishment of Canyon Diablo, and it was abandoned at the time, there was no one to refute his stories. Several historians have debunked much of his account of the history of Canyon Diablo, and it's definitely reasonable to assume that any information that's sourced back to him can't and shouldn't be trusted. It's sensationalized and likely fabricated. What is known is that there was a town there and that these are the remains. It's most likely that the workers here just did their job and then moved on when the bridge was completed. Regardless, it's still a fun place to visit with plenty of interesting things to see, and we're always glad when we get to come and visit.
Looks like there's a pretty old corral out here. The bird right there. Doesn't look like it's been used in a long time. But wow, these are like almost 6 feet tall or more. These posts. That's huge. Where's for horses? Oh wow, this is pretty cool. This is like a little horseshoe canyon, horseshoe bend. And wow, from the drone, this stone building looked like it might have been made out of concrete, but no. That's a solid rock construction. So, mystery solved. This looks to be a water cistern to collect water, which is so valuable out here in the desert. That's why there's no doorway in here. But it looks like there's a spigot down there in the bottom. Pretty cool, pretty old. Look at that view. So this is lots of old metal out here. Look at this. Oh wow. Ooh, that'd be an awesome hike. Oh, little horseshoe bend. Thank you for joining us today to Brigham City Fort and out to Canyon Diablo ghost town.
We love to see these sites and hear and read stories about those who settled the West and gain a better appreciation of that process and those who did that.
Just get out there, discover and explore, and thanks for watching.
Oh, one last treasure. Can't wait to see what it is. And here he comes. Let's check it out. What did you find?
So these are purposely flaked. That was cool. But you can see impact points along this edge that they'd use to knock that off. I don't know if that's This is typical of the material that they'd use for, you know, arrowheads.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah, kind of cool.